FBI Director Kash Patel. He said this judge was arrested on charges of obstruction.
2025, FBI agents arrested Milwaukee County Circuit Judge Hannah Dugan, charging her with obstructing immigration enforcement and concealing an individual to prevent arrest. The arrest stems from an incident on April 18th, when Judge Dugan allegedly helped Eduardo Flores Ruiz, a Mexican national with a history of violent crimes and prior deportations, evade federal arrest in her courtroom. According to federal authorities, Dugan misdirected ICE agents attempting to detain Flores Ruiz and escorted him and his attorney through a private exit, effectively allowing him to flee the courthouse. Flores Ruiz was later apprehended after a brief foot chase outside the building. The arrest has sparked significant controversy, with critics, including Wisconsin Governor Tony Evers and U.S. Senators Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren, condemning it as politically motivated and an attack on judicial independence. Supporters of Judge Dugan argue that her actions were in defense of due process and the rule of law, background in legal aid, and served as executive director of Catholic Charities of southeastern Wisconsin, denies the charges and intends to mount a vigorous defense. She was released pending a May 15 court appearance. This incident echoes a similar case from 2018, when a Massachusetts judge was charged with helping an undocumented immigrant evade arrest. The case has reignited debates over the balance between federal immigration enforcement and judicial independence. Wisconsin Judge Hannah Dugan carries significant implications across several critical areas. 1. Legal system. The case raises questions about the autonomy of the judiciary and the role of judges in upholding the law. A judge's actions can influence public perceptions of impartiality and fairness within the judicial system. If the allegations against Judge Dugan are proven true, it could suggest a breach of judicial ethics, undermining public confidence in the judicial process. This case also emphasizes the tension between local courts and federal immigration policies, with judges potentially caught in the middle of legal and political conflicts. It could set a precedent for how courts handle cooperation with immigration enforcement in the immigration issues. Immigration enforcement has been a highly contentious issue in the U.S. for years. The incident involving Judge Dugan and her alleged assistance in helping an undocumented individual evade arrest could fuel further division over the role of local authorities in supporting or resisting federal immigration policies. For many advocates of immigrant rights, the case highlights the challenges in balancing humanitarian concerns with enforcement of laws. Conversely, critics of illegal immigration may see this as an example of judicial overreach, potentially undermining national security and public safety. Public trust. Public trust in both the judiciary and immigration enforcement could be deeply impacted by this case. The idea that a judge may have obstructed federal law enforcement could erode faith in the justice system, particularly if the public believes that personal or political views are influencing judicial decisions. On the other hand, supporters of Judge Dugan may view her actions as a stand for justice, especially in cases where they believe immigration enforcement is overzealous or unjust. This could create divisions in how different communities and political groups perceive the judiciary's role in such matters. Wisconsin judge arrested by the FBI is Hannah Dugan, a circuit court judge for Milwaukee County. She has served in this capacity since 2016, following her election victory over incumbent Paul Reifeld. For her judicial tenure, Dugan dedicated her career to legal aid organizations, including serving as the executive director of Catholic Charities of southeastern Wisconsin. She is also a former president of the Milwaukee Bar Association. Dugan was arrested on April 25, 2025, and charged with 2 felony counts: obstruction and concealing an individual to prevent arrest. Federal authorities allege that she interfered with an ICE operation by misdirecting agents and facilitating the escape of Eduardo Flores Ruiz, an undocumented immigrant with a history of violent crimes. Following her arrest, Dugan was released on her own recognizance and is scheduled to appear in federal court on May 15, 2025. Judge Hannah Dugan is a Wisconsin Circuit Court judge for Milwaukee County, serving in Branch 31 since August 1, 2016. Judge Paul Reifeld and was re-elected unopposed in 2022. Career highlights: legal aid and nonprofit leadership. Before her judicial appointment, Dugan dedicated her career to serving vulnerable populations. She was the executive director of Catholic Charities of southeastern Wisconsin from 2006 to 2009 and served as a litigation attorney at Legal Action of Wisconsin and the Legal Aid Society of Milwaukee. Education and teaching. Dugan holds a Juris Doctor, JD, from the University of Wisconsin-Madison, 1987, and a master's degree in American Studies from Boston College, 1993. She has also taught law courses at Marquette University and Seattle University School of Law. Professional recognition. She was president of the Milwaukee Bar Association from 1999 to 2000 and has been involved in attorney discipline cases brought by the Wisconsin Office of Lawyer Regulation. Reputation and judicial philosophy. Judge Dugan is known for her strict yet fair courtroom demeanor and commitment to due process. Her arrest in April 2025, accused of obstructing an immigration enforcement operation, has sparked national debate about the balance between judicial independence and federal immigration enforcement. Her supporters view her actions as a defense of due process, while critics argue that her interference undermines the rule of law. The case continues to garner attention amid ongoing discussions about the role of the judiciary in immigration matters. Judge Hannah Dugan was arrested